I will be off. We'll call the card when somebody brings it.
Yeah, we must be one joint.
It's like,
Yes.
All right. Third Circuit Court of Wayne County is now in session. Judge Wanda presiding. Please call all cell phones off. You may be seated. Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning.
Good morning, Judge.
Good morning. Good morning. You're still waiting on attorney. The parties for Jake, both attorneys are here already, and story. Jake. About to call parties for Jake. Well, I've been take out the time. That plus
All right, for the jury. You're all here.
Thank you.
Me again. Go back in session.
Ms. Evans, I apologize
Have a
for
seat,
being
sir.
belligerent
No,
and
no, no.
being rude.
Have a seat, sir.
I don't think so. I can email them and but I don't, and I checked the email and the files.
All right, check. Yeah, because we're doing it now.
I'll reach out.
All right, all right. Calling case number 21000211801, Jason Jinks. Commitment review hearing, appearances for the record.
Good morning, Your Honor. Mike Glenn for the people. My P number is 77516.
Good morning.
William Glenn, P 3679, on behalf of Mr. Dukes.
Good morning, Mr. Jinks. Stand and state your name for the record, please.
Jason Jinks, Your Honor.
Good morning. Today is a review date. We were last here in December for commitment review. The last report I received was on September the 2023. Is that what you all have?
That's correct, Judge. We have not received another follow-up report from the Center for Forensic Psychiatry.
Neither has this court. Attorney Glenn, do you know if he has been sent over there for continued treatment or to be rehabilitated, I guess?
Well, he was getting treatment, whether or not it's been continued, I don't know.
Do you know the last time he received treatment, Mr. Jinks?
Back in September.
In September, that's the last time
Right.
that he saw anybody over there?
You're right. Well, to my,
Mr. Jinks, please stand. When's the last time that you saw someone at the forensic center?
previously, I want to say roughly 3 months ago.
So that's September?
Yeah, around there, Judge.
All right, thank you.
The day
Yes,
after I had
sir.
the outbreak,
You may
I
say
thought-
something. I'm gonna let him speak. Did you want to say something, Mr. Jinks?
My man.
No, Judge?
No, you might.
All right. My JA is checking. We haven't received any updates, so we'll have to adjourn it for updated report.
I would agree, Judge.
All right. 3 months? You think that's sufficient, 3 months?
I think so, Judge. I mean,
Yes, Your Honor.
it's just a follow-up report that they have to generate. I don't see why they couldn't do it. Right.
All right, give me a 3-month review. March 28th. That was March 28th.
That's good, Judge.
That should work, Judge.
March 28th, 2024, in person.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. That concludes this hearing.
Yeah.
Have a great day, everyone.
Yeah. Stewart. This is a violation hearing, so. And separately. That's the entry for 125. Jury trial in progress. Concerning court. Jury trial in progress. For story. Look at this. I will see on the line. I have to get MDC or MDOT, so we're gonna call him and get that. We're gonna call William. Yeah, why I try to find out if Mr. Sony is in today. We're gonna do William. Sir. Calling case number 23003684001, Trayvon Williams sentencing. Also 23003767001, Trayvon Williams sentencing. Appearances for the record.
Good morning, Your Honor. APA Lord Merle Smith, PA 3353 to the people.
Good morning.
Morning, Judge. Neighborhood Defender Service of Detroit, Pipeline, PA 324, appearing on behalf of Mr. Williams.
Good morning. State your name for the record, please.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning. Today is the day set for sentencing. Has everyone seen the pre-sentencing investigation report?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Judge.
And
There are no additions, corrections, or deletions on that.
thank you. The guidelines correct?
Guidelines are correct at 1224 and 1938.
I can't hear you speaking.
I'm sorry. Guidelines are correct at 12 to 24 and 19 to 38.
Defense agrees.
You agree? Is there a victim or victim impact statement in this matter?
No, Your Honor.
Jenny, is there anything that you would like to say on behalf of your client before I sentence? And then is there anything that your client would like to say before I sentence?
Judge, I would like to address a couple of probation conditions.
You may.
I am requesting that.
And I need you to speak a little louder.
Yes, Judge, I am requesting that condition 1, 2, 3 be stricken from the recommendations. Those seem like boilerplate conditions. Body of the report doesn't indicate any issues with mental health, substance abuse, or alcohol.
Mr. Williams, you are from the Belleville Sumter area? No? One of the things that MDLC does is that they ask for that if any event they think they need that, so it's already there.
The other request.
So you said 1, which is the psychological, the other one was 3?
1, 2, and 3.
1, 2, and 3. So noted for the record. I'll address it when I get to that.
And Judge, as it relates to conditions 17 and 18, we are asking the court to reduce or waive the non-mandatory court costs in this case. Mr. Williams will be incarcerated for the next 9 months and unable to work, and also based on the fact that he's indigent as evidenced by the appointment of our office.
The court is going to, I'll keep the costs as they are. They'll have to file a motion with the chief judge regarding the waiver of those fees. And normally they don't find that they're indigent, so you'll deal with it there, okay? I'm not gonna, I'm gonna lease. All right, because he's going into the Wayne County Jail for 9 months, but he's still gonna be on probation.
That's correct, Judge.
Okay. Is there anything else that your client would like to say before I sentence?
No, Judge.
All right. There's a sentencing agreement in this matter, and I will follow it. I'm going to place Mr. Williams on case ending in 3684 on probation for 3 years. The first 9 months will be in the Wayne County Jail. It's 2 days jail credit for that case. And a case ending in 3767, I'm also going to place him on probation for 3 years with the first 9 months in the Wayne County Jail, and he gets 3 days jail credit on that case. They will run concurrent. You must comply with the following terms and conditions. In both cases, you must complete a psychological evaluation when referred by the field agent. And you must comply with any treatment recommendations following the assessment from a qualified community-based provider. That's number 2. You must complete a CBT, cognitive behavior program. You must enroll what's the highest grade that you completed in school? All right, just provide verification of that to the field agent. And that satisfies condition number 4. You must perform 100 hours of community service as directed by the field agent. You must not use any object as a weapon. You must not own, use, or have under your control or area of control a weapon of any type or any imitation of a weapon. And you must not be in the company of anyone that you know to possess those items. You must contact the field agent within 24 hours of your release from the Wayne County Jail. You must allow your field agent into your home at any time for a supervision visit. I don't require the submission of search of your home, person, and vehicle without the need of a valid search warrant, but you must allow them in the home for a supervision visit at any time. Just a moment. Yes.
Regarding that particular condition, it may be an unconstitutional condition, hopefully this will enforce the way this rights entirely. I believe there
I'm
has to
sorry,
be a requirement.
She can't hear you.
As it relates to that condition specifically, I believe that may be an unconstitutional provision. I believe there should be language that the field officers have reasonable cause to believe that Mr. Williams is violating some conditions of probation. I don't believe you can just blanket waive his Fourth Amendment rights as a probation.
I don't even include that condition, but what I do say, he must allow them into his home at any time for a supervision visit. That he can do, that they can do because he's on probation, but not a search. Those are two different matters, two different issues, and I don't require condition number 10. You must report any arrest or police contact or loss of employment or change of residence to your field agent within 24 hours of that happening. Weekends and holidays are accepted. You must not drive a motor vehicle without a valid license. Do you have a valid license? So condition number 12 reads, you must not drive a motor vehicle without a valid license. Without a valid driver's license. I delete the portion that says without first obtaining written permission from your field agent. A field agent can't give you permission to drive a vehicle even if you don't have a valid driver's license. You must make genuine efforts to find and maintain legitimate employment of at least 30 hours unless you are engaged in an alternative program approved by the field agent. And that's upon your release from the county jail. You must pay a crime victim assessment fee of $130, a supervision fee of $30 per month. Court cost is $1,300. Now, he can do community service in lieu of the court cost. Would you like to do that?
Yes, Judge.
He can do 100 hours of community service in lieu of the court cost. That's in addition to what he was previously ordered to do for community service. And he can do 25 hours of community service in lieu of attorney fees. Would he like that?
Yes, Judge.
You must forfeit your gun to the arresting agency. This will run concurrent with case ending in 3767. And on case ending in 3767, you're also on probation for 3 years. You get credit for, I think I already said it. 3 days of jail credit. You must complete a psychological evaluation when referred by the field agent. You must comply with condition number 2. Number 3, you must provide verification of your GED to satisfy number 4. You must perform 100 hours of community service as directed by the field agent. You must complete a gun prevention program, either at on-site or eBay. And you must contact the field agent within 24 hours of your release from the Wayne County Jail. Again, you must report any police contact or arrest, loss of employment, change of residence within 24 hours to your field agent. Must clear up any outstanding warrants, charges. If you have driver's license responsibility fees that's prohibiting you from getting a valid driver's license, you must clear that up. Talk to your field agent. There are some programs that some of them should have been removed properly anyway. Just talk to your field agent about it. He or she can help you. In that case, you must pay a crime victim assessment fee of $130. Your supervision fee is $30 per month. Per cost is $1,300. Again, you can do 100 hours in lieu of the per cost and 25 hours of community service in lieu of the attorney fees. You must pay $68 state costs and forfeit the weapon to the arresting agency. And this case runs concurrent with case ending in 3684. And as I said before, you must complete a handgun program at either eBay or on-site. I believe the prosecution has a motion.
Thank you, Your Honor. The people would move to dismiss the remaining counts and the habitual fourth offense notice on 3767 and the remaining count two on and the habitual fourth offense on case 3684.
On case ending in 3767, counts 1 and 3 are dismissed, and the habitual fourth notice is withdrawn. On case ending in 3684, count 2 is dismissed and the habitual fourth notice is withdrawn. Now you can apply to the Court of Appeals for leave to appeal. And if you choose to do so, you must submit that request to the clerk of this court within 42 days of today's date. Does he have the initial, the appellate rights form has the initial and dated?
Yeah, Judge, for both cases.
All right, please acknowledge receipt of those appellate rights. All right, that concludes this hearing. Go with the deputy. Is there anything else? All right, good luck to you, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You are. And then you can bring Story back out. Attorney, oh, can you approach, please, non-case related? Good to meet you, ma'am. Yeah, yeah. Here you go.
Thank you.
Any story. You have to bring this from, okay, okay. Here, recess for 3 minutes. Nobody leave. Nobody leave. Sorry. Yeah, she said she'll be back in 2 minutes. Well. We ready on stories?
Ready, Your Honor.
Calling case number 22007042001 FH Christopher Story, violation hearing, appearances for the record.
Good morning, Your Honor. Agent Ryan Sobey on behalf of the Department of Corrections.
Good morning.
Good morning, James Parker on behalf of Mr. Story. My P number is 53832.
Good morning. State your name for the record, sir.
First Story.
Good morning. You may be seated. Today is this was a bond hearing. Has everyone seen the report?
We've seen the report, Your Honor. Yes.
Mr. Sobey, would you like to respond? Because have you seen the report, Mr. Sobey?
Your Honor, I have not seen the report, but I would like to update you, Your Honor. I see that the pending case out of 36th District was dismissed on January 12th of 2024 without prejudice as the complaining witness failed to appear.
All right. And so the violation addresses is based on those new charges, right? But there were some other things though, weren't there?
Yes, Your Honor. On January 8th, the defendant pled already to taking a breathalyzer and not passing, as well as failing to make payments.
All right, what's your recommendation, Mr. Sobey?
Your Honor, with this new case being dismissed, I would ask that probation be continued to term and that defendant be ordered to attend AA meetings at the instruction of his field agent, along with a payment plan being set up.
What's term?
Term is May 8th of 2025, Your Honor.
Attorney Parker, anything?
No objections to those conditions.
All right, I'll continue probation to May 8th, 2025. You shall attend AA and continue all the other terms and conditions. Now, how much does he owe?
Your Honor, he owes $2,238 to the court. And Your Honor, this was a case where we needed to correct the supervision fees in our system. We went ahead and we had that corrected. And he owes, I'm pulling it up right now, he owes $240 to the state of Michigan in supervision fees.
All right, Mr. Story, how much can you pay a month? Stand up, please.
$50 right.
Now, your supervision fees are $30 per month. So $30 would go towards supervision and $20 would go toward your total court costs. If at any time you can pay more than $50 a month, you should do so, because they have all the costs and fines have to be paid up before I release you from probation. Now, what day of the month do you want to get that amount to the state?
At the end of the month.
You want the 30th of every month?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Judge?
Yes, Judge.
When do you want the first payment to start? At the end of this month or next month?
Next month.
Well, it will be February 28th, 29th.
Yes.
You'll report to your field agent within, when is this next reporting date?
Your Honor, I would ask that he reports within 24 hours of being released.
All right, report to your field agent within 24 hours of being released from the Wayne County Jail.
Yes, sir.
Anything else, Mr. Parker?
I have nothing else, Your Honor.
Thank you, Counsel. That concludes this hearing.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
And Your Honor, I was told that was the only probation matter today on the docket.
Okay, if that's what my clerk said. Thank you, Mr. Soap.
We actually, Mr. Sobey, we have one more. We have an AOI, but the attorney isn't here yet. So, and we're in the middle of a jury trial, so I'll just email you when that attorney shows up.
Okay, would you mind emailing me the name so I can be prepared?
Yes, I'll email you right now.
Thank you very much.
Madam Clerk,
Yes.
Titus Shakur should have the probation case that follows his sentencing as well. Titus Anderson. And I had Benjamin Brown on the docket as well.
Agent Sobey,
I'm here.
Agent Sobey, I'm sorry. We are about to sentence Titus Anderson, and he also has a review date, so I do apologize.
Okay.
All right.
Pauline Anderson. Calling case number 2-1-0-0-5-3-4-2-0-1 FH Titus Anderson, review date. Also 2-3-0-0-4-4-3-8-0-1 FH Titus Anderson, sentencing. Appearances for the record.
Good morning, Your Honor. APA Lori Morella Smith, P 83353 for the people.
Good morning.
If it please the court, Attorney Sharon Jones, P number 57113 on behalf of Mr. Anderson. All right.
Good morning. State your name for the record.
Good morning, Your Honor. Titus Anderson.
All right, this sentencing has been adjourned. Where are we at today? And update the court, please.
When we adjourned last time, it was to give Mr. Anderson time to comply with the requirement that he obtain employment. He has done that. He works from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. at a full-time job with Advantage Solutions. He brought documentation, he also texted me documentation.
All right, can get that from him and make a copy for file, please. All right, so we're prepared to sentence.
Yes, Your Honor.
Has everyone seen the sentencing investigation report?
Yes,
Yeah.
Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, any additions, deletions, or corrections?
Not for the people.
Now, the one that I'm operating from, I'm trying to, let's see, and I start with the first page that says pre-sentencing investigation report, page 1. And the sentencing date on that report is 11/20/23. Is that what everyone has?
It is.
I'll change that date to the sentencing date of January 25th, 2024. All right, there's no other additions, deletions, or corrections? Are the guidelines correct?
Yes, Your Honor. They're
I can't hear you.
yes, Your Honor, they appear to be correct.
Agreed, Your Honor.
Is there a victim impact statement in this matter?
There is not.
Attorney Jones, is there anything that you would like to say on behalf of your client before I sentence? And then is there anything that your client would like to say before I sentence?
Only, Your Honor, that I've seen true earnest desire in my client to get
We
his
can't
life.
hear you.
My client appears to me to be very earnest about getting his life on track. Other times when he's come, he's had family with him to provide support, emotional support, and getting him on the right track. I believe that's the case today also. I think he's serious this time, Your Honor, that he wants to prove to this court that he can be law-abiding, a hardworking citizen, and he's grateful to this court for the opportunity to prove that.
All right, is there anything he wants to say?
He just wants to thank you, Your Honor. He's a little nervous, so he asked me to convey that to you.
All right. Anything, Mr. Sobey?
Your Honor, it looks like Mr. Anderson owes $928 to the court. If he's getting probation on this new case, it looks like in the plea there is a 6 months Wayne County jail, but it looks like that may be at the end and may be waived if he's in full compliance. I would ask that he's continued to term of August 18th, 2024 to run concurrent with that new probation case.
All right, so let me make sure, am I looking, the settlement offer that I'm looking at, is that dated 11/29/21? Is that the current settlement offer?
No.
All right, let me get on the same page. All right, I see a settlement offer on case number ended in 4438, and that's dated October 18th, 2023, right?
That's right.
All right. So our sentence, did you give me a copy of that? I'm sorry. It's a job verification. Oh, I'm sorry.
Mayor, I don't know if I added the job is in Belleville.
I see that. I'm going to sentence Mr. Anderson to 2 years of probation with the last 6 months in the Wayne County Jail. That Wayne County jail time can be waived if you are in full compliance with the terms and conditions of probation. You must comply with the following terms and conditions of probation. He gets 3 days jail credit. You must perform 25 hours of community service as directed by the field agent. You must make genuine efforts to find and maintain legitimate employment of at least 30 hours per week. Provide this verification to your field agent that should satisfy condition number 2. You must pay a crime victim assessment fee of $130. Your supervision fee is $30 per month. Court cost is $1,300. Now he can do 100 hours of community service in lieu of if he wants.
Well, he did just get this job, but within 2 years, I would imagine he should be able to, you want to do community service instead of.
And you can complete 25 hours of community service in lieu of attorney fees. You must pay a $68 state cost. You must provide verification of your voter's registration to your field agent within 30 days of sentencing. I believe the prosecution has a motion.
Not in this case, Your Honor, he's previous charge.
All right. As to case ending in 5342, let's see. That's the probation violation case, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
I'm looking for the recommendation as to that. Did he make admissions as to the probation violation case?
I believe he did. It's my recollection.
All right, just a moment. They changed the form, so my eyes don't go to certain things right away. I'm looking for something that's just not where it's going to be there. Normally. Mr. Kobe, what's your recommendation as to the probation violation case?
Your Honor, with him getting sentenced to probation on the new case, I would ask that he be continued to term, which is August 18th of 2024, and he start making payments. I will update the court, Your Honor. He did complete some community service. Looks like he has completed about 80 hours of community service through the Detroit Phoenix Elite Youth Sports Organization, and he has been reporting.
All right. So on case ending in 5342, I will continue to term, which is August, you said 18th, 2024?
Yes, Your Honor.
And all other terms and conditions shall continue. So you have a lot of work to do by August of this year. Anything else, Mr. Sobey?
No, Your Honor.
And you can apply to, now on the new case, you can apply to the Michigan Court of Appeals for leave to appeal. And if you choose to do so, you must submit that request to this court within 42 days of today's date. This new case is not under hire. Does he have the appellate rights form? This is sensitive. Have your client initial and date in the upper right-hand corner.
He's executing the form now.
And then acknowledge receipt of the appellate rights form, please.
We acknowledge receipt. He has executed.
Let's check in. Does he need to go to the Clinton Street Probation Department or check in with his regular probation?
With his regular probation officer, Your Honor.
Within, at your next reporting date or within 24 hours. That concludes this hearing.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, I'm ready to start the clock.
Hey, Ms. Sophie, I'll email you when we're ready. Rollins, the prosecuting attorney isn't here yet.
Okay, thank you. Your Honor, may I log into another courtroom to handle a different matter?
Yes, we're gonna continue our trial.
Thank you, Your Honor.
It's been a long time. If you don't finish today, do you go on Friday?
Yes, I do.
You do, okay. Okay, thanks.
Cut the heat down still out of here.
Yeah, can you turn it down some more?
Yeah, I'm gonna cut it down.
Okay.
The attorney for Brown wants to know if a violation sentencing. He wants to know if it's okay. If we go on our house for this violation.
Sure, if you don't know.
That's right.
How you doing today, Jim?
I'm good.
Good.
Now the case related.
Yeah. I think the air is circulating or something.
We're back on the record. We're calling case number 2200435201 FC Joshua Ron McClure, jury trial in progress. Appearances for the record.
Good morning, Your Honor. APA Larry King to the people. E78774, appearing with co-counsel.
Good
Good morning, Your Honor. Dinah Lynch, on behalf of the people, P number 84589.
Good morning.
Officer in charge, Detective Benjamin Atkinson.
Good morning. It's
Good morning.
Judge.
Judge.
Good morning to this honorable court. Carla Mayer will be number 62755. Your Honor, I also have co-counsel.
Good morning.
Good morning, Your Honor. Austin Gregory, for E85193.
Good morning.
Good morning, Joshua Brown.
Good morning. All right, are we ready to continue with your witnesses?
People are prepared, Judge.
And who is your next witness? The name.
Antoine Herring.
All right, let's bring him out. No, 1 second. Are there any matters that we need to address before we continue?
Nothing from the people.
Anything from the defense? The mutual sequestration order continues that if there's anyone in the courtroom that intends to testify in this matter today or at any time, or if there's anyone on YouTube that intends to testify, you must leave the courtroom or cut off your camera. And if I find that you have violated this order, the court will start contempt proceedings immediately. You may bring up your next witness.
I think the next one's getting good.
Let's bring out the jurors first.
All right, for the jury. Thank you for your patience. You may be seated.
Okay, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. We didn't hold you too long. We have you waiting too long today. We will continue with the jury trial. Prosecutor King?
Yes, you're right. Yeah, calling Antoine Harris.
All right. To the witness chair over here, please. Come straight across. Stop right there. State your name for the record, please.
Antoine Harrington.
And that's where Mr. Heron is.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
You may put your hand down.
You may have a seat. And what I need you to do is to wait until the question is complete before you respond. Only one person can speak at a time. Please keep your voice up so we can hear all the way to seat number 14. And if you hear objection, I need you to stop talking and I'll direct you from there, okay? You can only testify in the singular, which you did, saw, and heard, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
And the court is referred to as your honor or judge.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. You may proceed when you're ready.
Thank you, Your Honor. Sir, could you please tell the jury your name?
Antoine Harrington.
What do you do for a living?
I am a police officer. I was a former police officer with DPD as well as a detective. Now I am a federal agent for Homeland Security.
And you said you were formerly with the Detroit Police Department, is that right?
Yes,
When were you with the Detroit Police?
I was with the Detroit Police Department for the past 7 years, starting August 29th of 2016 to May 1st, 2023.
So looking back to a specific date, March the 27th, 2022, what was your employment? Where were you working?
Yes, I was a police officer at the time of the incident.
And with the Detroit Police Department?
Yes,
What was your specific assignment at the time of this incident, March 27th of 22?
I was a police officer responding to police calls.
Were you with any particular precinct or unit?
3rd precinct, just patrol.
And were you working on that day, on March 27th?
Yes,
What shift were you working on?
I was working day shift,
What's day shift, from when to when?
6:45 a.m. roll call until 3 p.m.
Did you have a partner with you?
Yes,
Who was your partner at the time?
Willie Johnson.
Did the two of you ride in a car together when you were doing patrols?
Yes,
Who drove, who rode?
on that particular day, Officer Willie Johnson, he drove, and I
jump. Jump man is the person that's driving, that's riding in the passenger seat.
On March 27th, 22, did there come a time during your shift where you were dispatched to 111 Cadillacs?
Yes,
Is that within the city of Detroit, Wayne County, Michigan?
yes.
What is at that location?
At that location is an apartment building.
Can you kind of help us just understand that apartment building? Is big building, little building? What's the?
It's a high-rise building. As far as the number of stories, I don't know, but it's a very tall building.
And was that within the downtown area or one of the outlying areas?
Downtown area.
So do you recall the nature of the call, the nature of the dispatch that led you to that location?
Shots fired at the location.
How long did it take you to get from your previous location? Where were you when the call came to us back? Where were you when the call came?
Due to the time elapsed from the event, I don't know where we started, but I know we got to the location very soon.
Do you recall the time that you got to the location?
I do not.
Would that be documented within your report?
It should be.
Does your report typically have a time on it?
It's normally a timestamp at the time that we start writing the report. As far as the timestamps of arrival to a location, that's in a different system.
Okay. And the timestamp, I guess, when in relation to your arrival did you start writing the report? Was it right away? Was it later?
I do not recall exactly when I started writing my report.
So would a review of your report give you a recollection of the at least approximate time that you arrived on the scene?
Possibly, if I look at it.
May I approach this witness with his report to refresh his recollection of time?
You may approach.
Thank you. Just gonna hand you your report. If you could just take a look, and then if and when your memory is refreshed about the question of time, just look up at me. Do you have an idea of the time that you arrived based on your recollection now?
Around the time of 8:10 in the morning.
I'll retrieve your report from you. So what was the first thing you did when you arrived early in the morning to the address on Cadillac Square?
Upon arrival to the location, I exited the vehicle that we were in, the scout car. I approached the building. At that time, I seen a woman that was inside right after the vestibule. Woman that looked and appeared to have no idea what was going on.
So I want to kind of back up. So you parked the vehicle, right?
Yes.
Where do you park the vehicle?
I didn't park the vehicle.
Where was the vehicle parked by your car? Do you know, on the street, in a parking lot?
On the street, just ahead of the building on the opposite side.
So you approach this building, where's the main door?
In the front of the building.
And there, you said there was a vestibule, correct?
Correct.
Now, as you're walking up to the building, entering this vestibule, do you see other police officers present?
Yes.
How many of the police officers approximately were present?
Unknown amount.
Were you the first police officer to enter the building?
Yes.
And you enter this building through a vestibule, you see the woman, you described how she was. Is it like a double door situation? How's this vestibule situation?
I don't remember exactly how it's made, but I believe I walked into the first door and the lady that was standing beyond the door, either I opened the door or she opened it for me. And from that point, I asked her to leave out the building as she did not look, as if she was involved in the situation at all.
So you asked the woman to leave, you went through the doors. What are you looking at once you entered through the doors?
At that point, I'm looking at just the base of the building, the first floor of the building.
Is this a lobby area, a reception
lobby
area? How
area.
would you describe it?
A lobby area.
And does anything within this lobby draw your attention?
Not initially.
What do you do? I mean, what do you do when you enter the lobby? What's the first thing that you do?
I proceed forward and what we call pie the corner.
What does that mean? Hide it.
When you have a corner and you don't know what's behind that wall because you don't have a vantage point. An officer, as officers, we're trained to pie a corner, especially on a call like this, where the shots fired at a location or a gunshot victim at a location. So I approach that corner, then I step to the left, making sure if I see anyone or see anything popping out. At that point, I made contact with the victim as well as with the plaintiff, with the parties involved.
Okay, so you look around the corner. Let's just say you look around the corner, but you do it in a way that you're trained to do. You call it pie the corner, right?
Yes, sir.
What do you see when you pie the corner? What do you see when you look around?
I see two men.
Okay, can you tell us how those men are positioned?
One male is laying upon the floor and the other male is over him applying pressure to what looked to be a gunshot wound.
The man that was over the person on the floor, was there anything that stands out in your memory about what he was wearing?
I do not recall what he was wearing.
Did you approach these individuals?
I approached tactfully, so I can't remember if I brought him all the way to me or if I approached a little bit further up and he came back to me just a little bit, or I had him come all the way back. But I do know I was the one that put him in handcuffs after I told him put his hands up, and my partner then retrieved the weapon after he stated that he had his weapon in his right pocket.
Okay, so the person that you put in handcuffs, who stated that he had the weapon in the right pocket, that's the same person that was over the person that was on the floor?
Correct, yes.
And do you see that person in court here too?
I do not recall the faces.
Did you make efforts to identify that person?
Yes.
Okay. Did you learn that person's name?
I remember the name is Brown McClure.
So once you've placed this person in handcuffs and you said the partner retrieved the weapon, what's the next thing that you do?
I put the male in handcuffs. My partner retrieved the weapon. I performed a pat down incident to arrest, and then I escorted the male to the scout car.
So when you did a pat down incident to arrest, what's that entail? What is that?
The proper terminology is search incident to arrest. But at the point that you have enough PC to make an arrest, which is probable cause for anyone that don't know what PC is, I search for weapons, anything like that. And then I proceed to place him into the back of the scout car to be sent down to the Detroit Detention Center.
Did he say anything to you further before you arrested him or while you arrested him?
As I recall in my report, he stated that he had the weapon in his right pocket. That's the only thing I remember being stated.
Did he complain of any pain or injuries?
I do not recall.
Do you recall observing any injuries on his person?
On the person that was arrested, no.
Now, did you have any contact with the person on the floor?
Yes, so the person on the floor was then placed onto a gurney and put in the back of the EMS and I was able to talk to him when he was in the back of the rig.
Okay, so this person that you saw on the floor, you mentioned earlier apparent gunshot wound. Did you actually get a good look at his injuries?
I remember seeing swelling upon the left side of my face, the left side of his face, as the report indicated. I remember seeing the initial, what looked to be a gunshot wound upon his upper right arm from a distance. I didn't see the initial, I saw blood. I didn't see the abdomen shot initially.
The blood that you saw, how much blood did you see?
An adequate amount to know it was blood.
How was he acting when you saw him?
So as my report indicated, the person that I arrested, he was calm. And the person that was in the back of the rig, he was more tense as he was the gunshot.
When you say in the back of the rig, what do you mean rig?
EMS.
Okay. So was he able to have a conversation with you?
Very brief. Exactly what was said, I have to review the report.
Was he talking to you like we're talking now?
No.
Or was it different? So
it was exactly, I don't want to misspeak.
you recall anything about his mannerisms at all?
Objection, Your Honor, asked and answered. Mr. King has asked this question 3 times.
All right, objection overruled.
Anything stand out to you about his mannerisms?
Only thing that I remember, as my report indicated, is he was tense, which would correlate to someone that's been shot.
So was he able to walk into the EMS?
I was busy with arresting the other person involved in the case. So I didn't look to see if he had walked or anything like that, but I remember him being on the gurney when he was in the back of the EMS.
When you say on the gurney, give us that in layman's terms, please.
On the back of the little hospital bed. I call it a gurney. But
so he was laying down?
I don't recall if he was, his upper torso was sitting up or if he was completely laying down.
If you don't recall, the cause of speculation, also say he doesn't recall.
The answer is what it is, Your Honor.
Continue.
So how long did you spend speaking with him, if you can estimate for us?
If I was to estimate, it was definitely less than 3 minutes.
And what's the next thing that you recall happening?
At the point of the gunshot victim being transported to the hospital, I was with the person that was arrested in a vehicle in the scout car. And that's just speaking for myself.
And did you remain on the scene?
Yes.
How long were you on the scene?
Do not recall.
Did you ever go to anywhere else in the apartment complex other than the lab?
I did not.
Did others, law enforcement officers arrive at us?
I know my partner was on the scene. I know another scout car was on the scene. And I know it was a different scout car that was like circling the scene, but I don't know if they ever made entry into, I don't know what other officers made entry into that building as I was with the arrestee.
So you're with the arrestee. What's the next thing that happens?
I'm making notifications. At that point, I might have started jotting down the some of the arrest report.
And does there come a time when you leave the scene?
Yes, when we transported the arrestee to Detroit Detention Center,
And you say we, who was with you at that time?
me and my partner, Officer Johnson.
And you took him to the Detroit Detention Center, right?
Yes, sir.
Was there any other involvement that you had in this case after you completed that transport?
I completed my incident arrest. I completed my arrest report. I made my notifications. We transported the arrestee to the Detroit Detention Center. At that point, that was the conclusion of the case.
That was the conclusion of the involvement in the case?
For me.
For you, your involvement in the case. Okay. Thank you, sir. I don't have anything.
Cross-examination.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, officer.
Good morning.
Now, you did a police report, you and your team did a police report, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and I'm getting from it that you're the writer of it, but it's for your whole team, correct? Is that
I
correct?
wrote my report.
Okay.
That's what I was speaking.
Okay, now you are what's called a first responder. You was the first person, from direct examination, there's other police officers on the scene, but you're the first person to get in the building, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so you get to the building and you see two men, correct?
Yes.
One is putting pressure on a wound, correct?
Correct.
Okay. At the time that you see this, what do you say? What do you do?
I have him put his hands up.
Okay, the one that's giving pressure?
Yes.
Okay. And, does he comply? In any way, when he's dealing with the police, with you, is he not complying, disrespectful, talking, disrespectful to you or anything like that?
No, not that I recall.
He complies with everything.
Yes.
So when you walk in, you see him giving aid to the victim and you tell him to put his hands up.
He's applying pressure. Yes.
Okay, now, in your report, he tells you exactly where the gun is at, correct?
Yes.
In the pocket.
Yes.
And I see in your report, he also tells you that he has a CPL, concealed pistol license, correct?
The review.
I have the report. May I approach y'all?
You mean from? Are we refreshing recollection?
Yes. Is that your report?
This is my report.
Okay.
You cannot read from the report. You can review it, turn it over, and then respond to the question.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Your Honor. Your Honor, this is not my report.
The second part, okay. But that first part is your report, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
The back of, can I see the other side of that?
The back of this?
The back of it is not mine.
Okay, the back of it's not yours.
Can I see
Okay.
the other side?
It's two-sided.
Yeah, this is not my report.
Okay, but that's your report that
Yes.
you're reading. Okay. So at some point, were you informed that, may I have it? At some point, are you informed that he has a CPL?
I was informed that the pistol was registered to Mr. Brown before.
Okay, but in the report, who is Donzo Cooper?
Doso Cooper, Doso is the title, Cooper is the name. Doso is in layman's terms, the secretary at the precinct that works the desk.
Okay, so he's the person that works the desk, and y'all call things in him for him to check out?
If in the point we are able to use lean, she is able to access lean to give us the information that we may need.
Okay.
Your Honor, at this point, I would object to hearsay, but pursuant to conversation with Ms. Maribel, people do stipulate that her client had a concealed custody license. But this line of questioning, I object to hearsay.
As to what the docile,
As to what the docile told.
response to his objection.
Well, Your Honor, if we have a stipulation that my client had a valid CPL, I don't see how it is. It's technically hearsay under the rules, but we have a stipulation that he, at the time of the event, he had a valid concealed pistol license.
Objection sustained. It is hearsay. But
Okay.
there's a stipulation that will be read into the record.
Well, let me ask you this. So you're told some information, and at that time, you try to verify it through the precinct, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And were you able to verify it through the precinct?
No, ma'am. The first part you said, I was told some information.
Okay,
I didn't put in that report that he told me yet concealed pistol license.
okay. Okay, at some point, you try to verify information, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And that's when you send it in to the precinct, correct?
I called the third precinct, talked to the DOSO,
Okay,
and I gave her the information,
okay,
and she verified that it was registered to Mr. Brown.
okay. So in this particular case, you're the first responder, and you also transport him to the detention center.
Yes.
No more questions of this witness.
Any redirect?
No redirect, Your Honor.
All right, can this witness step down?
I would ask that this witness be excused, Your Honor.
All right, you may be excused. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You okay over here, jury? They need a break? All right. How you next witness?
Yes, Your Honor. At this time, I would call Officer Henry Simmons.
You can stand right there. State your name for the record, please.
Henry Simmons.
And that's where Officer Simmons is, please.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
You may put your hand down.
You may be seated. Wait until the question, you may be seated. Wait until the question is complete before you answer. Keep your voice up. They have to hear you all the way to see the reporting. If you hear objection, please stop, and I will direct you from there. You know, you can only testify as to what you said and did, but not what we saw. Okay? You may, and please refer to the court as Your Honor or Judge. You may proceed when you're ready.
Thank you, Judge. Sir, could you tell the jury your name?
My name is Officer Henry Simmons.
Officer Simmons, we can kind of see what you're wearing, the police outfit, police gear, and you're an officer, but just for clarification, tell us what you do for them.
So I work for the Detroit Police Department, and I work with the crisis intervention team. I'm on a task force. I'm on the mental health unit.
How long have you been doing that assignment?
So this is been about a year now. It's a new unit.
So looking back to March 27th, 22, where were you stationed within the police department?
I was assigned to the 3rd precinct as a regular patrol officer at that time.
Was there a specific shift that you were working at that time?
If I recall, I believe I was on platoon 2 at that time. That's the morning shift.
So when to when?
Believe 7 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Now, were you in fact on duty on March 27th, working that morning shift, year being 2022?
Yes,
Were you working alone or with a partner?
I had a partner.
Who was your partner?
As I recall, it was Officer Potts.
So did there come a time on that day that you got dispatched to the Cadillac Square Apartments, 111 Cadillac Square?
Yes,
And that's within the city of Detroit, correct?
yes.
Do you remember the nature of the dispatch, the type of call that caused you to come to that location?
If I recall, it was a gunshot wound victim.
So about what time did you arrive at that location? Do you recall?
I don't recall the time.
Was it morning, noon, night? You don't have any recollection?
Right, morning time.
And was anyone else present when you arrived, as far as law enforcement?
Yes, because I was the secondary unit. So Officer Heron was present.
Any other law enforcement present when you arrived?
Yes, and my partner.
So were you driving or were you jumping the jump seat?
I was the jumper.
So you arrived at the location. What's the first thing you remember?
So when I entered into the location, I observed the defendant applying pressure to the victim. And at that point, Officer Heron gave a command, told him to put his hands behind his back. And given those commands, he informed, the defendant informed us that he had a firearm on him. I retrieved the firearm, made it safe, and we apprehended the
So
defendant.
let's back up and break that down a little bit. So you walk through the doors. What room are you?
I think we was like in a hallway. I'm not sure how the building, it was like a hallway. They were next to an elevator.
And you said you saw somebody that you called the defendant, you saw somebody that you called the victim. Where were these people?
Like near the elevator, the victim was on the ground and the defendant was trying to apply pressure.
Do you recall anything about how either of these individuals were dressed?
I don't recall.
Now, did you observe any injuries upon the person who was on the floor? Did you see it?
I seen him, the victim bleeding.
And so the person that you witnessed Officer Heron detain, the one that you retrieved the firearm from, do you see him here today?
Yes.
Can you tell us where he's seated and what he is wearing?
He's seated right here. He's wearing a black suit with a red tie.
A red tie?
Yes.
Record reflect identification. Full record reflect the identification.
So reflect.
So when this person, the defendant, mentioned to you that he had a firearm, was he in handcuffs at the time?
No.
Where was he?
He was applying pressure on the victim.
Did there come a time when he stood up?
He did. Once Officer Heron gave commands, he did stand up. I removed the firearm, made it safe, and we detained.
Okay. So where on his person was the firearm located?
It was, if I recall, in its right pocket.
And what type of firearm was this?
I don't recall.
Okay. Did you document the firearms in your report?
I don't recall.
Did you write a report?
I did write a report.
So do you recall if the firearm was loaded?
I recall documenting that it was loaded and it was chambered with 1 round.
So when you say loaded and chambered with 1 round, you put that into layman's terms for the jury. What does that mean?
So it was loaded with a magazine and it had 1 round in the chamber. So I had to remove the magazine and take the round out the chamber.
And what, if anything, did you do with that fire?
Once I handed it over to Officer Heron's partner,
Okay.
Officer Johnson.
Did you place that firearm on Evans?
I did.
Were you present when it was placed?
I was not.
So when you handed it over to Officer Johnson, did you see where it was placed or where it was put?
I did not.
What did you do next?
At that time, I stood by for further instructions, and we were instructed to convey the defendant to the DDC, and that's the Detroit Detention Center.
So were you present with the defendant while he was being transported?
Yes.
And how long was the ride to the DDC?
I don't recall.
Do you recall if the defendant complained of any pain or injuries?
I don't recall.
Do you recall noticing any injuries on the defendant?
No, I don't recall.
You don't recall, or there was?
I didn't see it. I don't recall.
So were you with him when he was processed at the DDC?
I was, yes.
And does that process involve the taking of photographs? Mugshots?
It can, depending.
Are you aware if there was any mugshots taken of the defendant?
I'm not aware. I don't recall.
So after the transport to the DDC, did you have any further involvement?
No, sir.
Would you recognize the firearm again if you saw it?
No.
Bear with me for just a moment. No further questions.
Cross-examination.
Good morning.
Now, you are not the very first person that gets to the elevator. You and the other officer get here roughly around the same time, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and the victim and my client are at the elevator, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so like what, maybe 3-4 steps away from the elevator?
Possibly.
Okay, so let's talk about this building. It has a front door, correct?
Yes.
Then it has a vestibule,
Yes.
and then it has another door, correct?
I don't go in the Cadillac building often, ma'am. I don't recall the whole structure of the building.
Okay, so you don't remember how many doors you have to go through to get
No.
into, and I appreciate that. The truth. Okay, so you don't know, but you know that you get to the elevator and you see the victim and my client there, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and my client is giving pressure to the wound, correct?
Correct.
Okay, when you say giving pressure, when you're giving, is it giving, he's putting pressure onto the wound? He has a, what does he have in his hand doing it?
Well, he has his hands. He's trying to stop the bleeding.
Okay, thank you. Now, the prosecutor asked you, do you anything about the dress? My client didn't have a shirt on, did he?
I don't recall what it was. I really don't recall what
Okay.
he was wearing that day.
And you don't recall what the weather was, that it was in March? You don't recall it was cold or what? do you?
No, I don't recall.
Okay. So at some point, he tells you that he has a gun in his pocket, correct?
Correct.
Okay, you don't have to just search for it or anything. He tells you that, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And at some point, the EMS arrives. You're there when the EMS arrives, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and the EMS takes over the care of the victim, correct?
Correct.
At that point, do you or your partner put my client in, arrest my client?
At that point, I was given instructions to stand by, kind of hold the scene until further instruction, because I wasn't the primary unit.
Okay.
So I think I was still like standing by the scene by the elevator until further instructions.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Can you be direct?
No, Judge, thank you.
All right. Is this officer free to step down and free?
Your Honor, I
to-
do ask that this officer be permitted to leave and be excused from this meeting.
All right, here's, excuse me, your subpoena. May step down. We can take about a 5-minute restaurant break. Restroom break.
All right, for the jury. You may be seated, court back in session.
We'll be in recess for about 5 to 10 minutes.
You've been on strike all this week.
So we have a game.
I'm gonna go get it. Now I feel like I'm lying. Hold on. I had 4 of them today. So I was like, there's no way that was 4 rounds. My actions were.
I knew. He would call Brian.
They're hearing February 1st, so they should be. February 3rd? Yes. So they should be here. Right then.
I'm like, okay, I come say there's something you gotta have to do this. Even though
Or, and I also.
Officer Willie Johnson, who was Officer Aaron's partner. Yes, apparently, he was here the last 2 days.
The fire ground might be in that pile of refile.
Just a big pile.
Yeah, cause it was all from this week and I haven't had a chance to refile it yet.
Okay.
And she was supposed to
Well, he
be
wasn't
here
gonna say
for
much more than what Aaron
the
did.
23rd, so it's
Okay.
probably in that pile.
Thank you. Will that pile always be there and will it always have the same purpose? So I can just look there?
Yes.
That's
I mean, I'ma always have like a pile with the date, so you can look and see the sticker.
Right.
You see a 6 pile.
Let me just go through my notes.
I'm just gonna put a
He's the one that got the
sticky
gun.
here,
Okay.
needs to be filed.
No,
Okay.
he recovered the gun got handed off to somebody else, and the evidence tech's gonna clear it all up, she put it in the envelope tag.
But evidence that.
She's next. Flip channel, Willie Johnson. Name, occupation, working relationship, location, arrival, see when you arrive, and you as president. Working like your defendant, then your partner. It's all.
That's it, yeah, he's sick, that, but I want the, so with this picture, you weren't able to get the picture,
Not yet.
right? We gonna use to get it in. 'Cause I want to watch it.
Oh, I see.
Okay.
And he'll be here a little bit. All right.
Yeah.
The actual OIC, not the standard.
If he's sick, just say, I
So-
tell him I wish him the best, I hope he feels better.
And you'll waive him? You're not gonna slam you with that adverse instruction?
You know I want to. I should. Do I have too many cases? She we were doing this for 20 years.
Usually my husband be here, he be following and watching drive.
Oh,
He just
really?
ain't been here like this. I did.
Hey, is there any way I can get some water? Do you know if Judge has water that's not in the jury room?
Water.
It's not in the jury room. We know if we have water that's not in the jury room.
That's the only water we have. You could go next door to Blount.
Oh, could I?
Yeah, he usually lets us do that.
You like me, you like McDonald's coffee.
I do.
Well,
like-
not that, no. But you know what? I was drinking coffee recently, this one, basically I stopped there, I'm not gonna.
You know.
So. My special kid, he said, I forgot what he said, but it was just funny because when he called, it was 10 o'clock at night, I said, oh shit, something back. I looked at the guy, got my kids, talking to him, what the hell. But it's funny how my mom called me to watch them. So, but that was the so I was like, okay, then he was here to do that. But he said, "You know what?
He said, well,
I wish they was Friday.
So it's back when I just.
Huh? Unfortunately, the doctor is like this the next 3 months. And a lot of the stuff was done, I just became her clerk January. So a lot of this was scheduled before.
Oh, got you, okay.
And then I started scheduling too.
So how much
not
is this budget?
thinking, look at Monday.
I
know now.
You know better than
I know that.
Sometimes it take a minute.
Sometimes it takes a minute. I ain't like these repeat offenders. You give me one time. You ain't got to one time. You ain't got to it twice.
So I've been telling him that he's doing the apartment. He had the same phone since the seventh grade. And he expected me. My phone was not, if something happened with my phone, we be shut down and doing that, that is my money thing.
Carly, people don't understand that.
People don't understand, if something happened, and then I always gotta get in touch with my kids. I was telling him, my baby, and my kids never, he called at 10 o'clock last night, and he called, when I saw the call, I'm talking, and I got my purse and my keys, because I'm on my way out. He was like, "Mom, I just broke my computer, I need to." I'm like,
Mr. Kenny.
Well, she's waiting one. And I have to.
this week we really. I should. Well, a lot of money. Years ago. Okay, so I should. Okay, so I should spend less than 2,000. Okay, so I'm just gonna go with 2,000.
I'm about to say, my MacBook, it's like 1,500.
Quite like that. Everybody I know like Mac too. But you can move it and stuff. Oh, I'm see, I'm gonna get it, but I'm still. Yeah, great. I gotta just need. Close right now. Is there another way to do it? I have a use for it. If they're gonna testimonies. Okay. Correct. Right, thank you.
And you say you just need to not commitment.
I need a commitment.
Or will you?
So I have somebody who is.
Two commit.
I'm pretty sure.
Even though he got sentenced on 2.
He's lost his mind. But he's talking about.
Just for the order of conviction. And give it to Regina, she'll figure out if we need one or two. That's why, we want to both counts. I think. And the other guy needs probation.
Story.
It's on that spreadsheet.
Oh, okay, I will look at that. Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
I don't have it up front.
No, I don't need you to do that. Thanks for telling me.
It's on that sheet.
And if I'm up there, just come out. Hold on. That sounds like some TV stuff.
Just need the ones that we got, right?
Yeah. Would you say around fourth October?
No, it's not. 2 days ago.
2, 3 days ago.
Yeah. Okay, I can send it to you. Email. You, they told me I had to.
Oh.
They don't like the-
Oh, I don't know what.
I'm gonna print it to your printer.
Okay, thank you. Oh, that's when.
Yeah. Oh, God, and we got started.
No, I'm set. I just, I'm a dentist. Oh, okay. I just want to. Definitely my comment. That's great. That's great.
All right, courtroom 403 is back in session. You may be seated.
All right, it's back on the record. Back on the record. For case number 22-00435201 FD Joshua Brown McClure, jury trial in progress, appearances for the record.
Good morning, APA Larry King for the people, P 78774.
Good morning.
Good morning, Your Honor, Diamond Lynch on behalf of the people, P 84589.
Good morning.
Morning, Your Honor, officer in charge of the case, Detective Benjamin Atkinson.
You said Atkinson?
Atkinson.
All right, I thought it was.
He is the new OIC. Officer Detective Bearcat is the original OIC. He is coming to testify.
Okay.
But Detective Atkinson has taken over the OIC duties, so he is here marshaling the evidence and witnesses.
All right, thank you.
Good morning to this honorable court, Carla Mayor, P number 62755. I do have co-counsel in this particular case too.
Appearance, please.
Good morning, Your Honor, may I please report Austin Gregory, P 85193, also on behalf.
Good morning. State your name for the record.
Good morning, Dr. Brown.
All right, are we ready to proceed?
People are ready, Judge.
All right, who is your next witness?
Sharon Thompson.
All right, let's bring out the jury.
All right, for the jury. Speak for your face. Oh, thank you. Maybe seated, court back in session.
All right, we'll continue this jury trial. Next witness.
Yes, calling Sharon Thompson.
Okay. Okay, please come over by the witness chair. State your name for the record, please.
My name is Sharon Thompson.
All right, let's swear.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that you will truthfully and completely answer all the questions? I'm sorry. You will tell the truth, the complete truth?
Yes,
in the proceedings today? Thank you.
May I have a seat? Please wait until the question, you may have a seat. Please wait until the question is complete before you answer. Please keep your voice loud so that juror seat number 14 can hear you. Please refer to the court as your honor or judge. You know you can only testify in the singular, not what we did, saw, and heard, but what you saw, did, and heard. And of course, when you hear objection, please stop and I'll direct you after that.
Yes, ma'am.
Please refer to the court as judge or your honor.
Yes, ma'am. Oh, yeah.
You may proceed when you're ready.
Thank you. Is that your report, ma'am?
Yes.
Can you place it face down? If you need to refer to it, refresh your memory, there's a procedure we got. Okay?
Okay.
Tell us your name.
My name is Sharon Thompson.
What do you do for a living?
I'm a forensic technician for the Detroit Police Department.
And what exactly is your role as a forensic technician?
My responsibilities are to process crime scenes, collect evidence, and photograph the scene in its organic state.
When you say in its organic state, what do you mean?
So we are to photograph the scene the way it is upon arrival, and as well as placing placards to document any evidence afterwards.
And do you have specific training in this field of forensic technician?
Yes.
Okay, what's your training background?
My training background are my degrees from Wayne County, Wayne State. I've attended the University of Tennessee for training, as well as Oakland University. I've attended trainings with the Michigan State Police Department, as well as the Detroit Police Department.
And how long have you been working as a forensic technician in Detroit?
For over 6 years.
And were you working in that role on March the 27th of 2022?
Yes.
Now, when you're working as a forensic technician, do you have like a shift that you're assigned to, or how does that?
We have a shift that, I have a shift that I'm assigned to.
What shift were you assigned to?
I was assigned to what we call platoon 1, which is 8 a.m. to 4 p.m.
So during your shift on March the 27th, 22, were you called to an address 111 Cadillac Square?
Yes,
Do you remember when you were called to that address?
I received that run approximately at 9 a.m. I arrived at that scene at 9:25 a.m.
So who is responsible for calling you to the scene?
On that particular day was a Sunday, so have received that call from dispatch on the weekend.
So when you arrive at the scene, what do you see? What's the first thing that you see when you arrive?
When I arrive, I locate the officers that were outside of the scene.
And without saying anything, what we said, what do you do with those officers? What's your first step?
I just ask where the scene is located specifically, whether it's outside of that location or inside, what evidence needs to be collected at that time. If there is anything else that I need to do to further process that scene.
And were you directed to a specific location within the building at Cadillac Square?
Yes, I was.
Where were you directed?
I was directed to the 19th floor.
Did you also do any work in the lobby of that?
Yes,
And do you recall anything about the scene, the lobby?
yes. I was directed to a location that had suspected blood along with napkins that were placed down. And I was directed to a shoe that was located in the lobby.
And did you collect any items within the lobby?
Yes,
What did you collect?
I collected a shoe that was in the lobby that had suspected blood.
And did you take any photographs of it?
Yes,
You said you were also directed to the 19th floor?
yes.
Specifically where on the 19th?
When I arrived to the 19th floor, it was in the lobby right outside of the elevators.
How many elevators were there? Do you recall?
I do not recall, I believe 2.
But you rode the elevator up to the 19th floor, you got off the elevator, and the scene that you were looking at was where?
Right outside of the elevators.
And can you describe that area for us?
I was right in the hall. There was a apartment to my left, which was 19A, and then directly across from the elevators were 2 more apartments, 19B and 19C, and the elevators were behind me.
So apartment to your left, 2 apartments in front of you, elevators behind you, what side of your right?
To my right was a hallway. I recall a hallway being to my right side.
And when you were in this area immediately off the elevators, did you take photographs?
Yes,
Did you locate anything of note?
yes.
Specifically, what did you locate?
I located 2 shell casings that were on the floor, and then there was suspected blood that was on the wall.
Did you photograph these items?
Yes,
And did you ultimately collect these items?
yes.
So is there a specific procedure for collecting a physical item?
Yes.
What is that procedure?
That procedure, after photographing it, we place placards down to identify each item, photograph them. We always make sure we have on gloves and collect those items and mark them as to what they were.
So I'd like to show you, and I have these marked as People's Proposed Exhibit 15 through People's Proposed Exhibit 24. All copies have been provided to defense. May I approach this witness?
You may approach.
So, ma'am, I'm going to hand you 15 through 24. Please look through these exhibits and tell me if you recognize 15 through 24. you recognize those?
Yes,
What are they?
these are the photos that I took on Sunday, March 27th.
At the Kennewick Square location
Yes,
of the items that you just described?
yes,
Are these all the photographs you took or just some?
these are just some.
But are these accurate copies of the photographs?
Yes, they are.
Your Honor, what I'd like to do now is move for the admission of these exhibits, number 15 through 24, and request to publish to the jury. I'm gonna like to go through each one on the big screen with this.
Any objections?
No objection, yeah.
People's proposed exhibits 15 through 24 will be admitted. You may publish.
May I approach?
You may approach.
Thank you, Your Honor, appreciate it. So, ma'am, I am going to put these up on the big screen behind you one at a time, if you could. So give me a second to get the laptop connected to the screen and we'll go from. So what are we looking at here in 15? Can you tell us what this is?
Yes, the photo that we see in 15, I am actually standing in the elevator to take a photo of the lobby area of Cadillac.
So this is a view from inside the elevator?
Yes,
Where in this photo is the front door to? Do you know?
I do not recall.
And let's take a look now then at People's 16. What are we looking at on People's 16?
People's Exhibit 16 is a photograph of the area where the suspected blood was located. At the bottom of the photo, we can see where the white napkins are.
So that area where the white napkins are, that's where. Turn on closed captioning of myself. The area where the white napkins are located is where you observe the blood, the suspected blood?
Yes,
Where are the elevators in this photo?
the elevators are to the right side of the screen. As we can see here where the small openings are located.
So there's like a red desk area immediately in the lower right of the photograph, would you agree?
Yes,
So the elevators are just beyond that to the upper right of the photograph, is that accurate?
yes.
Thank you. So now I want to show you what we have marked as number 17. What are we looking at in number 17?
Number 17 is a photo of the 19th floor.
So where are you positioned within the 19th floor when you took this photo?
I'm positioned facing towards 19A. That
And-
door where the light is apartment 19A.
And where are the elevators in this photograph?
On the left side of the screen where you see the 3 squares.
So those are the elevators.
Yes,
So getting off the elevators, your vantage point would be what? You got off the elevator, you turned where? You turned left or right?
that would be to my right, stepping out of the elevators, positioning myself here.
Turning to the right, turning back around, taking a photograph.
Yes,
And there are 2 orange items that we're seeing on the floor of the apartment hallway in this photograph. What are those?
those are called placards.
How did those get there?
I placed them there.
What is the significance of placing those items in those locations?
Is to signify that there is evidence there.
Now, did you move any of the evidence at this point or simply place the placards?
Simply place the placard.
So I want to turn again to a little bit of a different view here. And this would be People's Exhibit 18. What are we looking at here?
This is a viewpoint from me standing in the opposite side. So at this point, 19A is behind me. And this is just to show another angle of where the evidence is located in the hallway.
So this is just the other side.
Yes,
And these are the same placards
yes,
in the same locations.
yes,
correct? And to the right is the elevators?
yes,
Are the elevators, I should say, are the grammar? And again, this is an accurate photograph, correct?
yes.
Let's turn to number 19. What specifically are we looking at in 19?
In 19, this is a photo of the suspected blood that was on the floor outside of apartment 19A.
So we've established this is the apartment that is opposite where you were standing, taking one of the photos, the one that's just to the left of the elevators.
Right.
And can you kind of point to the jury where you're seeing suspected blood in this photo?
Yes.
Could you maybe stand for us? I know the monitor kind of washes it.
So this is the area where the suspected blood is on the floor.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And just for the record, she is making a circle with her finger around an area in the middle of the lower right of the photo.
So noted for the record.
I'd like to take you to look at number 20. What are we looking at in number 20?
And number 20, this is a photograph of a suspected strike mark.
And where was this suspected strike mark in reference to, I'm gonna go back to 19. Where was it? So 20 is.
Just a moment. You can actually stand over there as opposed to leaning over that area, because I don't want you to fall.
So what we just looked at 20 is kind of a zoom in of something that's in 19, is that right?
Yes.
Can you point to us on 19 where you zoomed in to take 20?
That would be this area here.
So just for the record of the court, she's pointing near the middle of the photograph, slightly to the right, at the door frame to the right of apartment 19.
The record show reflect that the
So
officer.
going back to then to.
I wasn't finished. I was still talking. I know the plexiglass makes it hard. So I'll just say so noted for the record.
Thank you. So when you say suspected strike mark, what do you mean?
That means that this mark was made possibly by a bullet.
How do you know that, or what made you suspect?
When we arrived to scene, we talked to the officers that are there, and they give us a brief rundown at times. I say suspected because I was not there, so I can't say that it specifically is a mark made by a bullet. We just say suspected based off the information that was received. And so I made note that this is where it possibly landed based off of the information that I received.
I want to go now to number 21. What specifically are we looking at?
May she be seated now?
She may be seated. I don't think we need her again.
Thank you.
Show it out.
In Exhibit 21, we see placard 1. It is identifying that there is a shell casing there.
And this placard, was it also visible in the earlier photos that I showed you?
Yes.
And this is just a close-up, correct?
Yes.
When you say shell casing, what is a shell casing?
A shell casing or a cartridge casing or a piece of ammunition is just what's left after a bullet leaves a firearm. We know that the bullet leaves the casing and the casing drops off. So that's what we mean when we say a shell casing.
Thank you. Looking now at number 22, what are we?
This was another shell casing that was located in the hallway.
And is that also visible in the earlier photos that I showed?
Yes.
So, was a firearm recovered to your knowledge in this case?
To my knowledge, yes.
Did you place a firearm on evidence or package evidence on fire?
No.
Did you handle or document a firearm?
I documented a firearm by photo.
You documented a firearm by photo?
Yes.
Okay. And where was that firearm that you documented by?
It was in the passenger door of the Scout that was on scene, and it was in the mat pocket.
And I want to turn then your attention to item 23. What are we looking at in item 23?
This is a photograph of the firearm that was located in the Scout's vehicle.
What type of firearm is that?
That's a Taurus G3C 9x19 and the serial number ABL 116825.
Are you familiar?
I'm
with-
sorry, 166825.
Well, I think it might be better if we move to 20.
Okay.
What's 24?
This is a photograph to show what the serial number of that firearm is.
Now, are you familiar with the way in which evidence is tagged and stored by the Detroit Police Department?
Yes,
And are you aware of whether or not this firearm that you photographed was tagged and stored and taken into evidence as part of this case?
no, I'm not.
Would you be able to recognize this firearm again if you saw it?
Yes,
And how would you do that?
I would have to physically look at the firearm to know if it was the one that I photographed at the thing.
Your Honor, do we have gloves for the evidence technician?
Your Honor, I have my own.
She has her own.
Thank you. Your Honor, I have with me what the people have marked as proposed exhibit 13. This has been previously given to your deputies by the officer in charge, and they say and expect and possession of the officers in charge of the sense. May I approach this witness with number 13?
May I approach?
Handing you what's been marked as people's 13. Could you open that package for me, please? So take a look at the contents of that package. Do you recognize the contents?
Yes,
Is this the firearm that you photographed on the scene that is depicted in people's 23 and 24?
yes, it is.
Move for the admission of 14.
Chief Justice, people's proposed exhibit number 13 will be omitted.
Can you show that to the jury?
And you may
since we have
publish.
gloves on?
You may publish.
May I retrieve that exhibit?
You may.
Now, going back to the 19th and talking about those two plaques, 1 and 2, did you recover those pieces of evidence?
Yes,
And what did you do with those pieces of evidence?
once I collected those two pieces, I individually packaged them and placed them on evidence.
And would you recognize those items again if you saw them?
Yes,
May I approach the witness with what's been previously marked as people's 25?
May approach.
I'm going to hand you 25. I'm going to ask that you take a look inside. What's inside?
these are the two envelopes that I marked placard 1 and placard 2 as 9mm shell casings that I collected from the scene.
Now, your writing is on those envelopes?
Yes,
Could you open them for us, please?
yes. This is placard 1.
Okay.
And it should be a silver tone 9mm SIG shell casing.
that the casing that you recovered from the scene?
Yes, it is.
I've moved for the admission of this exhibit and request permission to publish to the jury.
Any objections?
No objection.
People's proposed exhibit number 25.
So that the jury will work out for us.
Sure, let me just open this in. This is a SIG 9mm shell casing.
And that you said was number one?
This, I did one already. This is placard 2.
So what you just showed the jury is in that photograph there, is that the same item?
Yes.
Sure, I'll go ahead, retrieve that. Thank you so much, man, I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
So 9mm shell casings, correct?
Yes.
What caliber was the firearm that we talked about, the one that you saw?
The Taurus was a 9mm.
And how long were you on the scene?
Approximately 35 minutes.
And aside from what you've already testified to, did you do any other work on the scene?
No.
Did you author a report?
Yes.
And have you had any further involvement in this?
No.
Thank you so much, ma'am. No further questions for this.
Cross-examination.
Thank you, Howard. Good morning.
Good morning.
So it's fair to say that your job is to go to crime scenes, document physical evidence for the police, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And in this particular case, you were told when you get there, the first thing you do is talk to the police to see where you should go and what they suspect, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And in this case, they directed you to the 19th floor, correct?
Yes.
And that's why you went there, you took pictures and collected evidence, correct?
Yes.
Now, and they also directed you to the lobby.
Yes.
Okay. Now, with that lobby, that first lobby picture, can you put that on there? I appreciate that. Do you remember how many doors you have to go to get to that lobby? If you remember.
No, I don't recall.
Okay, but that picture is you inside of the elevator.
Yes.
Taking.
Yes.
Right. And you see a door, right?
Yes.
But you don't know how many doors is in front of that door.
No, I don't.
Okay, and you don't remember?
No.
Okay, because you probably in a year go to hundreds of crime scenes. don't
Yeah,
you?
to date, 2,215. By myself. Not including working with a partner, but alone.
Okay, so I that. Now, the second picture of the now, can you, okay, that picture.
Yes.
Why were you directed to take pictures of that?
I was directed to take photos of that the information that I received that the individual who was injured made their way to this location.
Okay, and you wanted to document the blood, correct?
Yes.
Now, that particular location, that's right outside of the elevators, correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, and you have a great day.
Thank you.
Any redirect?
No, Your Honor, I asked that this witness be excused.
You may step down, you are excused. Next witness.
Yeah, call Detective Mohammed Fairfax. Take the back as soon as getting Detective Fairfax.
Okay. Come over by the witness chair, please. State your name for the record, please.
Mohammed Barakat.
And spell your first and last name, please.
Mohammed.
Thank you, that's clear.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
You may put your hand down.
You may be seated.
Thank you.
Please wait until the question is complete before you respond.
Yes, ma'am.
And please refer to the court as judge of your honor.
Yes, ma'am. Your Honor.
And I need you to testify in the singular to what you did, saw, and heard, but you cannot testify in the plural, what we did, saw, and heard. And of course, when you hear objection, please stop and I'll direct you from there.
Yes, Your Honor.
Keep your voice loud so that during seat and 14 can hear you.
Yes, Your Honor.
You may proceed when you're ready.
Could you please say your full name for the record as well?
Detective Mohammed Barakat.
And you introduce yourself as detective, but tell us what you do for a living.
Detective with the city of Detroit
How long have you been a detective with the city of Detroit?
since 2021,
And how long have you been in law enforcement?
since 2016.
And where are you currently stationed?
I'm at the homicide section, major crimes.
Back in March of 2022, where were you stationed?
I was a detective at the 3rd precinct.
Were you working on March the 27th of 2022?
Yes.
And are you familiar with the case that brings us?
Yes.
What was or is your role in that case?
I responded to the scene and I was the officer in charge at the time.
So we got another gentleman sitting next to me, Officer Atkinson, who I've also referred to as the officer in charge. So you said you were the officer in charge at the time,
Correct.
and Detective Atkinson took over the case.
Detective Atkinson took over the case once I left the 3rd precinct.
Which was when?
October of last year.
As the initial officer in charge of this case, what was your role? What does it mean to be an officer in charge?
To investigate the crime that happened with the assistance of other members of the Detective Bureau at the 3rd precinct. And the case primarily would have been assigned to me, making me the officer in charge of that.
Now, did you go to the location in question?
I did.
On March the 27th?
I did.
And what time do you recall arriving?
It was in the morning.
Was anybody present when you arrived?
Police officers were already there.
Was the defendant or victim present?
I don't remember if the victim or the defendant was present at the time of my arrival.
Did you have any contact on the scene with either the victim or the defendant?
I don't remember if I did that specific morning at the actual scene.
So what was your role on the scene?
The officers directed me to where there was evidence, there was blood. They directed me as to the floor that it happened on, and I remained there until the evidence technicians wrapped up their duties.
So as you were coming in, there was a person just coming out who was identified as evidence tech. You were there when she was there?
Yes.
And you were there when the other officers were there?
Yes.
Were you in charge of securing the scene?
No, as far as scene security, that's the responding officers. Their role is to secure the scene.
Were you in charge of investigating the case further after clearing the scene?
Yes.
So how long were you at the scene if you were?
Probably a couple of hours.
And after you cleared the scene, what other steps did you undertake to investigate this case?
Looking at surveillance videos, conducting interviews. And once the evidence technicians collected the evidence that would have been at the scene, to examine it a little bit further based on their reports.
Now, you said video. Did you direct somebody to obtain video in this case?
Yes, our AVERT team, they're responsible for pulling video for us.
So it was you that sent the AVERT team to go to Cadillac Place Apartments and pull the video, correct?
I believe so.
And when you sent the team there, did you give them a direction as to what videos to obtain?
Yes,
What video did you request that they obtain?
from what I can remember, it would have been the video that was on the floor where the incident occurred.
Ask them to obtain any video from the lobby or other halls.
I believe I did, but I do not remember.
Now, in this case, you have learned that the, I guess, I'm trying to phrase this question in a way that will probably fix it. Did you ask them to look back in time to see if they could identify any of the parties coming?
I don't remember if I did. Usually our AVER team doesn't look further. They operate at our direction.
They do or they don't?
They do operate at our direction. They don't investigate any further.
So if the officer on the AVER team had previously testified that he was given directions to look at a specific time.
Objection, Your Honor. It calls for this particular officer to verify it's improper. That question is improper because this particular officer he wants him to give a, basically the boost, the other officer testimony is improper.
I'm not sure what your objection is.
Okay. Well, let him finish.
Okay. Sorry, I was a bit questioned. Just a second. If the officer from the AVER team who recovered video in this case testifies that he was specifically directed to look at a specific time range, would that direction have come from you?
Yes.
Now, you interviewed witnesses in this case, correct?
I did.
Who did you interview?
From what I can remember, I don't know actual names. I know at the scene itself, I remember knocking on some apartment doors and speaking to some individuals.
Did you speak to the victim?
Honestly, I don't remember.
Now, you write a report, right?
An investigative report, yes.
What is an investigative?
Investigative report is a report that we prepare as detectives or officers in charge that's sent to the prosecutor's office. It usually has the circumstances of the crime itself and any of the direction that we took.
And you submitted this report to charging with our office, right?
Yes.
I'm sorry, this is the last part.
You submitted this report to our office to be charged, correct?
Yes.
Do you recall me directing you to go talk to the victim?
Yes, I recall our conversation to attempt to talk to the victim at the time. I remember the victim was unable to speak as he was intubated.
Now, it wasn't you that interviewed the suspect.
Correct.
But as part of your review of the case and authoring your investigative report, was the interview something that you looked at?
I would have looked at the written statement.
So, did you undertake any additional investigation based on the written statement or anything you learned in this case?
I don't believe I did.
Did you ever send the AVER team back to get more video?
I don't remember if I did.
Did you obtain any medical records?
I did.
How did you obtain those records?
Completed the search warrant and served the hospital.
And did the hospital respond to that search warrant?
Yes.
And did they provide you with records?
The records were placed on a disk that was placed in the jacket or the file itself.
And was there also a certification with that disk?
I believe so.
Were you ever present at the detention center after the defendant was taken?
On the day of?
Yeah.
I don't believe I was.
Are you familiar with the booking process?
As far as what they actually do once they are released to the custody of the MDOC, no.
Do you know if mugshots were taken in this case?
Usually on felony charges, mugshots are taken.
But do you know if they were taken in this case?
I do not know.
So you wouldn't be able to recognize them if you saw them?
Madam, he, objection, he can only testify in firsthand knowledge.
You can answer the question.
Would I recognize photos as mugshots?
Would you recognize the mugshots that were taken of this defendant related to this case if I were to show you? Yes, sir.
Yes.
Now, you have a police jacket that you maintain, right?
Yes.
And that has all the evidence in it, correct?
Yes.
And those mugshots are part of that police jacket?
Yes.
The lawyer's approach, please.
Yes.
Put your mask on.
Oh, I think I left over my. I have.
Back on the record.
We're gonna switch lines of question. So, aside from what you've already testified to, did you have any other involvement in this case?
No, other than submitting it to the prosecutor's office, no, I did not.
Nothing further.
Cross-examination.
Good morning, officer.
Good morning.
So, at the day of the incident, you arrived on the scene, correct?
Yes.
And you are already, designated as the officer in charge.
Not at that point.
Okay, you're the detective, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and if you tell the jury as a detective, what is your job duties?
When we respond, debrief with the officers, investigate the actual scene of the crime, see what we have, and we are with the evidence technicians afterwards to see what evidence is collected.
So is it fair to say you're at the
the crime scene and you later become the officer in charge.
Yes,
So you have the advantage of actually being at the crime scene and working, and then you later become the officer in charge, and then you later go to homicide, correct?
yes,
Okay. Now, you, as the officer there, you took some statements. You talked to one of the neighbors that did the 911 call, Ms. Browning, correct?
I believe so.
Okay. And do you remember where you talked to Ms. Browning at?
If she was at the scene, it would have been at the apartment building.
Okay. If I approach with her statement, would that refresh your memory of where you talked to her at?
Yes.
Okay, may I approach, Your Honor?
You may approach.
That is a statement that you took from Ms. Browning, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and she, if I remember right, she is the person who makes one of the 911 calls. She's also an occupant of that particular apartment complex, apartment building, high rise.
Yes.
Okay. Now, when you take your statement from her, what is the point? What are you trying to get at?
Of what she saw, what she heard?
Okay, now, she's not an eyewitness of the shooting, correct?
I don't believe so.
Okay. But she hears certain things, correct?
Objection, hearsay.
Your Honor, any statements made by my client would not be hearsay.
Any statements made
Made
about,
by my client.
just a moment. You said made by him or about him?
By him.
This is not a statement from Ms. Browning made by your client.
Your Honor, Ms. Browning overhears something that this officer put in writing.
So you want hearsay upon hearsay?
No, Your Honor, this particular officer interviewed Ms. Browning because she is there in the building. She's 911 call. Upon him investigating, he asked her, what did you hear the two people talking about, right? She says that she hears.
You cannot do that.
I wasn't about to say that. She hears my client say something, right? Things that my clients say are not hearsay.
To just asserted for the truth of the matter stated, and that she's not here to be cross-examined, so I'm gonna not allow it.
Okay.
Objection sustained.
Not what they say, right? But when you take the statement, you're asking certain questions, correct?
Correct.
Because you're trying to get to what happened, correct?
Yes.
And based upon the statements that you get, you're gonna later investigate, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now, based upon Ms. Browning's statement, did you tell there was an argument?
Whatever she would have mentioned would be in that statement.
Okay, I'm asking you as the officer in charge, and I can approach with the statement if the prosecutor hasn't let you read it this morning. Because you did offer this statement, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so this is not something that I made up or in any way doctored.
Your Honor, I'm gonna object again. We're still going to hearsay. We're still talking about what Ms. Browning told this officer.
Are you trying to refresh his memory?
Yes, I'm trying to refresh his memory.
He didn't say he didn't remember something. No, wait a minute. I'm
Okay.
saying it right there.
I'm gonna say it right here.
He did not say he didn't remember something.
Let me ask you, as of this morning, you don't remember what was in Ms. Browning's statement, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and you as an officer, was Ms. Browning the first person that you talked to on the scene?
I don't remember the order of people I talked to.
Okay, but she was someone you talked to on the scene.
She was somebody that I spoke to, yes.
And would her statement have led you to investigate other things?
If her statement revealed anything that would have been further investigated, yes.
Okay, but do you remember if
No,
it
I do
did or
not.
not? May I approach to refresh his memory, Your Honor?
You may approach to refresh. Well, just a moment. Okay. I'm not disturbing my thought process. Just be still. What are you trying to refresh?
where his investigation was going. This,
He can tell you that without looking at her statement.
do you remember after reading taking Ms. Browning's statement? Do you remember where you felt that the investigation should go? Or what should happen in the investigation?
Ms. Browning's statement wouldn't be a standalone statement that would take the investigation in any direction, as there was video of the incident.
But in taking Ms. Browning's statement, you would want to look at, that would cause you to, if you just said that would cause you to look at the video?
I said, Ms. Browning's statement wouldn't be a standalone statement that would cause me to shift my investigation in any direction, as there was video of the incident.
Okay, but you yourself did take a statement from Ms. Brown.
Correct.
Right? And you as an OIC, there's certain particulars that you want to make sure that you ask and you get, correct?
Correct.
Okay, now you talk about the video. At some point, you look at the video, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And did you look at it that day on the scene?
Yes.
Okay. And I know that you yourself can't pull it, but you think that the video is so important that you asked someone to pull the video, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Now, and as the officer in charge, you also pulled the 911 calls, correct?
I sent an email that requests them.
Okay, because you want to preserve them, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now, at some point, my client is taken into custody, correct?
Yes.
And is it important for you, after looking at the video, for you to talk to him?
Somebody from our team or detective bureau would usually talk to or interview a defendant in that case.
Okay. So Steve Posey took a written statement from my client, correct?
Yes, Detective Posey did.
Okay. And were you there present when Steve Posey took the written statement?
I don't believe I was. Listen.
Now, let me ask you this. Did you, as the OIC, ever look at my client written statement and compare it to the video?
I would have read it after I had watched the video.
Okay, this is the question. You, as an officer, you've been officer for how long?
Since 2016.
Okay. Did you ever read my client's statement and compare it to the video? If you didn't, you didn't, or do you remember?
I did not read your client's statement and compare it to the video side by side.
You did not?
I did not.
Okay, is it fair to say that you don't remember a lot about this case?
That's correct.
Okay, and since you have moved on to another department, this case is not, you didn't prepare for prosecution.
That's a fair statement.
Okay, so this particular prosecutor, did he ever direct you to, before you leave to go to homicide, did he ever direct you to do anything extra, like pull certain video or do other things that would be common for prosecutors to ask them to do?
If whatever the prosecutor had asked would have been prior to my submission to the prosecutor's office for the charges.
Okay, when you say prior, because you prepared for submission, so that would have been the things that the prosecutor would have asked you as you're preparing the case for to submit, correct?
Correct.
And at the time you asked for submission, you're aware of the video, correct?
Correct.
You're aware of my client's statement, correct?
Correct.
You're aware of Ms. Browning's statement, correct?
Correct.
No more questions of this witness. Thank you.
Any redirect?
Now you're gonna ask that this witness be excused.
You may step down, you are excused.
Thank you, Your Honor.
right, how many more witnesses do you have?
Your Honor, there's a matter for the outside the hearing of the jury, and then there is one more witness.
All right, so it is 12:05. I do have a few matters to take care of on my docket that I told them to come back at 12 o'clock for. I'm going to send the jury to lunch and have you all come back at 1:30. Okay, remember my instructions about talking to each other not until you start deliberating and not talking to anyone involved in this case, not even people in the hall. All right?
All rise for the jury.
Here I am digging in my purse for it. Maybe, I think so. Me neither. I'm sure all my things. It's most of them, I guess.
You may be seated, court back in session.
All right, so one more witness that we need to address.
Yes, Your Honor. May I address the court?
Yes.
Your Honor, the people had endorsed witness Officer Willie Johnson, who is the partner of Officer Antoine Herring. Officer Johnson was here Tuesday and Wednesday, but has fallen ill today. He was called in sick. He is not able to make it to court. I believe, based on all of my notes in the case, that his testimony would be redundant. I have discussed this with Ms. Maribel, and it's my understanding the defense is not objecting. Correct me if I'm wrong. I would move to strike the officer as an endorsed witness.
All right, reply. It's fine.
Yeah, if the officer is sick, I don't want to expose him to, kind of everybody is sick. I think he's the, partner of the first officer that's no longer a Detroit police officer, he was a federal agent. So I think he's gonna say the same thing.
I will strike him without, because there's no objection, I'll strike Officer Willie Johnson from the witness.
Thank you.
And so we have, who's your last witness?
Detective Posey.
All right. See everyone back at 1:30.
Thank you, Judge.
All right. You did already. Okay.
Okay, no problem, no problem. I got you.
You can just leave it right here.
Okay.
Okay.
So we got Schumann on the line for Rollins, and Mr. Harris is here for Bonnery.
I don't see Schumann. Let's do Bonnery. Let's do Bonnery, get that up. Where's the prosecutor?
Is your, Tanya here?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Where's the prosecutor? Oh, Ms. Marilla Smith.
Let me call her back now. I'm sorry.
You did? House counsel. Okay. Rakia, will you look in the empty room? South cabinet, give me a package of fish.
Back there? We should have a bunch right
Oh,
here.
just give me one. I don't care where
Oh,
you
yeah,
get it from. I'm
they're
just
in
thinking
here.
that's where it's at. Thank you. Just need one. Got mine over there. Just need
Oh, there's one
one.
over there.
Yeah, that's why I need this.
No, we have one. What's for response to the annual? Oh, yeah. The house council is coming down for ground. All right. I gotta plug the ground. House council is moving. Yeah. Yes, he's in custody. I'm still waiting for the capo to log back in. He's about to log in right now.
Okay. Do you have his number as well?
The capo? You've got 5 minutes, just kind of other. Attorney. Yes. He is on his place to raise the ground. The ground. The ground. Yeah. Oh, thank you.
So you have to get cell phone number done.
I do, I have it, but he keeps sending me the cell phone. I mean, okay.
When you have something ready.
Okay.
Did the prosecutor respond?
Not sure. I didn't hear. Hi, this is the clerk and Judge Wanda Evans courtroom. All right, he's on his way down.
You always grind it up.
Sissy, you know what?
You've been grinding.
You never let her walk with me, ever.
And no attorney checked in for him?
Not been congested access of every person.
Oh, really? Since you started?
Since I started. Back when I was 21. I'm going on 51.
Said who? Everybody check in a little bit. You know who else used to grind though? What's his name? Our old court reporter. Marrow courtroom.
Oh,
Sean.
Sean.
Sean used to grind, girl. Like Sean used to grind.
And Sean was a man, that's what he used to. I think he used to.
Hey, Sean used to grind like almost every single day.
That's me.
Like almost every single
Oh,
day.
see, you know what?
Somebody dropping him off the check. He be like, hey, Dupree, I got a check coming.
That's how I was about to tell you to get that from. Cause that's how I used to, but you know what? And he used to, he didn't even have it, because he was a man. And he used to, well, in the beginning, they used to type it up. Then the software that I had where sometimes it might come out in English, he got that too, I could think. But he was a man, I mean, he was, that's way more work. I used to do that when I came out of court report school, before the software and stuff. That's a lot of work, but he was just, his courtroom was always like that, so all the court was so work. You know, it's
This is the stuff. So just imagine the transcripts he had.
Can we vote
He spent 30 minutes on a 5-minute motion.
on 5 minutes? Give me 2 seconds, I'll go back there and grab him.
Every time, that's all I do, all my life. Never get a break.
When you bring out a check coming in, just slide in the door.
That's what I used to do.
Slide in the door for me.
Oh, I'm about to say, give it to free.
I feel like I was the secretary. Like, man.
We broke up, we need one. But if you find that it's funny that you get to sing. Well, other people don't sing, I tell you. Just and you don't think you do. We don't, we sit in the courtroom
All day.
Get them up all night.
Staying up all night. And the weekend.
And the weekend. Don't get it on
Like, it's hard. He need y'all to have a real relationship.
Okay.
They gotta understand.
You gotta understand. Yeah. I can't, even my family. That's a whole bunch of years ago.
Right.
You know, before anybody. It is what it is.
Yeah, they were, Perkins was going to ask to adjourn, but the transfer came in yesterday.
Okay.
Should be all set.
Okay. I may be in here, so I might not.
Court is back in session. You may remain seated.
Call yours, Mr. Here. You have to sign.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry. The Raleigh.
I'm on Rollins.
Oh, you're on Rollins?
Wait for Mrs. Rose.
Yeah, she told me it was a violation here and she didn't need to be here.
Okay.
What is that?
This is the final conference, so it's not a violation. This is a final conference, correct?
It is scheduled for final conference.
This is not a violation hearing.
No.
We need Ms. Morales on boundary.
Oh, okay.
Did you read these?
Yes, I'm calling it out.
Okay. And then there's Mr. Schuler.
You do need to provide a final conference.
Mr. Schuler is on Zoom. He's on Rollins.
And I'm waiting for it, Sophie was there, he dropped off, so I'm waiting for him to come back on. Cause he also has that violation here.
Brothers in the back.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm trying to see who come down first, Sophie or, Ms. Morales maybe down.
So.
Mr. Sylvia.
Okay, we got Sophie, so we're gonna do. Round. Huh? Round. Yeah, we can do round.
No, yeah, Rollins.
Rollins, I'm sorry.
Rollins.
Yeah, so that's the violation here in the Is that part? Yes. Calling case number 2100789501, Rayvon Rollins, violation hearing. Also 2400040801, Rayvon Rollins, arraignment on information, appearances for the record.
Dominic DeGrazia on behalf of the people.
Good afternoon.
And good afternoon, Your Honor. Sanford Schulman, P 43230, appearing on behalf of Rayvon Cortez Rollins on the 24 case, 24408. I've also been apprised I was assigned to his probation violation, so I appear on his behalf for both cases.
Okay, state your name for the record, please.
Rayvon Rollins.
Today is an arraignment on the new case. Let's arraign your client, Attorney Shulman.
Yes, Your Honor. I'm prepared to waive the formal reading of the information and stand mute.
The court will enter a plea of not guilty on behalf of your client. Is there an offer in this matter?
Not at the current time.
We'll set some dates today. The exam was held on January the 18th, 2024.
That's correct. Yes, that is.
Okay, when are the transcripts due now, clerk? I'm signing the reciprocal discovery order, February 22nd. Transcripts are due February the 22nd. Motions shall be filed no later than March the 7th. I will hear any time you file motions and responses at the final conference on March the 14th. Trial is scheduled per the template April 18th, 2024. We'll address that at a later time if it's not a good day. That's what we're gonna set for right now. Is there anything else we need today?
Your Honor, I wasn't sure if, I wasn't sure if a DSU report had been ordered or if one had been prepared.
I do have a DSU.
Could the court hold that issue up until the transcripts are prepared? Or do you want me to, I was gonna file some additional pleadings as well.
I can do that.
Okay.
And of course, if at any point you reach a resolution, just turn in the settlement offer and we'll put you on the docket as soon as right away. I'm
Very
just
good.
following template, Attorney Grassi.
Judge, what was that tentative trial date? I didn't catch that.
April 18th.
All right, thank you, Judge.
Anything else needed today?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Your
All
Honor.
right, that concludes this hearing.
Oh, Your Honor.
Yes.
Oh, the probation violation needs to track it, I guess.
It will track.
Your Honor, I just want to point out that he's on probation for a 93-day misdemeanor. And it looks like he has about, when he was arrested for this case, about 55 days jail credit so far.
All right.
Yeah, we anticipate asking the court to close that out without improvement at the time of the final conference.
You know, we'll deal with that at a later. We're just gonna
Yeah,
track it.
I agree.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you, Judge.
All right. You're welcome.
Sure. Yes. Okay. For you.
Oh.
You the court file for that probation case?
I don't have a probation case file. You have to order that.
Okay.
I just have the new case file.
Okay, I was just asking. Thank you.
Yeah, I need it, but I don't have it.
Okay.
Oh, wait a minute, I'm sorry. I do have it.
I just have a look at it.
One second. That's okay.
Oh, yeah.
What is this? I don't Neil Brown. You're doing Brown?
Oh, me and Brown. I'm
Doing
sorry.
Brown.
Yes.
I have Barnery.
So you have Brown already?
I have Barnery. Bonery. Barnery. I have that one. That's what you gave me.
Okay, great. All right. Calling case number 230047840 Stephen Boundary, final conference.
Good morning, APA, Lord Donald Smith, PA 3353 to the people.
Judge Lau,
Good
here is
afternoon.
Mr. Bonner.
Okay, good afternoon. Today is the day for final conference. Where are we at today?
Judge, I'm asking for an adjournment. Reason being, I had an expert appointed, handwriting expert, who I contacted yesterday. And he told me that actually his assistant told me that he needs another, he said 2 weeks to complete his report as to whether the alleged signatures on these checks, in this case, are on clients. So for that reason, I'm asking for an adjournment of at least 2 weeks to complete that.
And also, the transcripts on that file. Are they?
Oh, you know what, there was an exam that was held, Judge, and you know what?
I don't see it. I just looked for it.
You need to order them,
We did, they had been ordered.
out of Gross Point, City.
Check Monterey to see if the transcripts. I thought it was.
Yeah,
Right
we
here.
don't have them.
And just order them again, please. Okay. They were ordered back, I believe, in October.
You know, we held that exam a long time ago. back
Oh,
in
November sixth was the order for,
Yeah,
for exam transcript.
right, that was back in the end of September.
You may want to check with, is it Miss Gray
Sure.
here
I
to
will.
see if they're, where they
I
are.
can do that when we're done.
Okay.
Cynthia Gray.
All right, so adjourn the final conference for at least, to the prosecution.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Your Honor. I just wanted to remind everybody that this offer, the current offer, was supposed to expire today.
That's really unfair to do that because we don't have, they don't even have the transcripts.
I realize it is unfair, Your Honor, but that is the stance of the prosecution.
Well, I would ask the people, at least until I get my expert's opinion, to extend that off. At least, you know.
Because I like.
Thank you, I appreciate.
We'll extend it to our next
I
date, Your Honor.
appreciate that.
All right, offer is extended. The next final conference. Give us about 3 to 4 weeks for final conference, because we need those transcripts. Need the transcript.
February 16th. Oh, no.
I'm gonna not be here
No.
next week.
February 20th. Is that a Monday? That's a Tuesday.
Okay, February 20th. Actually, that's the,
February 20th,
could,
9 o'clock.
could we do the 21st? Just in case.
The 21st is good.
Okay.
February 21st.
Thank you.
I think I'll be in trial that week. You want to be here early.
Sure, I could do the 23rd at the court of appeal.
I do trials on a Friday.
Oh, okay, the 21st it is, thank you.
And that is in person.
Are you okay with the 21st?
All right, that's concludes. Is that my docket?
No, we have Brown.
Okay, call me when you got it.
No, Brown's here.
Okay.
Brown's
Come on.
here.
Get Mr. Please move from the podium.
Okay, let's go, y'all. Let's go.
From the podium. This case is over.
Go with, sir.
Madam Clerk, are we doing O'Neill?
No,
We have a different date.
the 7th.
Thank you.
This is Brown.
Yes.
This is Brown.
Yes.
I'm ready.
Calling case number 2000450801 Benjamin Brown for sentencing. Appearances for the record.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Agent Ryan Sobey on behalf of the Department of Corrections.
Good afternoon.
Morning, Your Honor, Alexander Choate with the Neighborhood Defender Service P85948, appearing on behalf of Mr. Brown, who is present in court. Mr. Brown, you can say your holding for the record.
My stenographer didn't get your name. You have to take breaths when you're talking.
Alexander Choate, CHOATE, P85948.
Thank you. State your name for the record, sir.
Benjamin Joseph Brown.
Today is the day set for sentencing. Has everyone seen the pre-sentencing investigation report?
I have not been able to review that for Your Honor. I was just informed of it a couple minutes ago from agent, so.
Okay, so we will adjourn this. My clerk will give you a copy of it. But you can adjourn it to when? It's not back at like 2 hours. Overloaded. Yeah.
The 10th.
Your Honor, if you'd like, I could review that now. I could review that now if we would like to call the case later.
I would not. It's after 12:30, Counsel.
Understood, Your Honor.
And this is the sentencing, so everyone knows you gotta have a PSI.
Yes.
Yep, sorry. Okay, what's the new date?
February 10th.
No, that's too far down. about next week?
I'm at the 31st. I was looking at.
How was February 31st? I'm sorry, January 31st.
That is next week, Wednesday, Your Honor. That works for them.
January 31st, 9 a.m. That includes my docket.
Yes.
All right. Make sure that.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay.
Yes, I am.
You have a great day, Your Honor.
You too, thank you.